Wendy's. Just in case you didn't have more inflation going on. Wendy's, of course, had a dynamic price increase. And what do I mean by that? I don't know if you saw Uber price increases in your tax increases, a bit of wage increases, but it still doesn't combat with inflation. However, in case you haven't heard enough backlash or you haven't gotten enough backlash, we've got Wendy's up for go. So, let's jump into it. Now, do you think some price increases in food especially will increase better quality of life just because you got an increase? No. And here's why. Getting charged for one extra soggy burger bun extra just because you were hungry, don't you think that's a bit push? You capitalistic piece of trash? What do you think? Big facts. So Wendy said in this economy, we need to keep up with inflation because we already have everything keeping up with inflation. Your job, your bills, everything keeps up with inflation. They love that. And it's trash with their trash can. So let's go further. Enough. Dynamic prices. You see, dynamic prices are something that companies do to keep themselves up standard, and they need to maintain their bonuses. Maybe they want some turnover. Maybe they want some return on investments. You never know. But you know what screams better capitalism or more? That's dynamic prices. So congrats, Wendy's. You did a great job. Sounds a bit silly and stupid, of course. I'll give you that. It's stupid, it's dumb, you name it. But let's look into more details and why they did so. Fast food is gonna be similar to you rather than ordering lunch or dinner or whatever you're having. You're gonna end up buying a plane ticket. Yes, that goes in, goes down to your stomach. There we go, that's your plane ticket. Sorted. Sounds stupid? That's because it is. Because prices for a soggy bun or burger or you name it shouldn't be that much, man. It's too much and it pisses me off. But anyway, I'm getting emotional here. There's no need for that. So somewhere a Wendy's CEO or somewhere a Wendy's executive is probably giving a TED talk about, innovating sadness, one book at a time. Mate, get up your high horse, buffoon. Well, of course, after they announced this price increase, TikTok, Reddit, basically the whole internet exploded. They've exploded it and said, why would you do so? And now Wendy's came up and said, no, we're actually not doing it. But then we did it. And then they got the backlash. And now they stopped it. So pick a side, Wendy's. You're in, you're out. You're in, you're not. Go for it. Well, it turns out people don't like being auctioned off for chicken nuggets. So they're literally selling themselves straight off the bat for no flipping reason, and they're just doing it cheap at the price of their customers. But I'm not saying to boycott or do something, but maybe there's a cheaper alternative. Think about it for a second. Also, hey. So if this surge in pricing taught us everything, will people absolutely fight over a 5 quid Frosty? Similar to Black Friday when people go around and fight for 10 quid off, but it was the same price? But they added 10 more and they give you a massive discount? Hopefully we don't reach those thresholds, but who am I? I know Wendy wasn't the golden child of Hollywood or the cool. Anyway, the main point, they're not that holy. They're not the church doors. No, they're not that holy. What do I need mind that? Well, Wendy's been in a couple of controversies, which was labor issues, right? And they had ethical sourcing issues, which, sounds expensive when you have to pay people fair trade. And, it's kind of predictable. You have to pay farmers equal money. Don't abuse them. Don't come there. Don't nick their land. You need to respect their labor rights. They have certain laws that they have to be protected, not subjugated in their own land. And then with their money stolen. All this boring and controversial stuff that you might encounter if you're a farmer. If you're not, well, it's kind of predictable. All big companies turned out to be so predictable that they end up with fair trade deals and all that, since they don't abuse everybody. Wouldn't even be surprised if they banned phones in the bathroom like they did in more recent days. So I don't know, from labor rights to ethical sourcing to banning phone now into bathrooms. Wendy's, what are you doing, bro? Is there a sticker like I have in here when people go to bathroom? Imagine employees going to bathroom and but there's just a sticker, no phones please. Management already knows you're miserable. We don't... Oh man, so yeah, that would be stupid, but yeah, that's what they did. They just probably didn't put a sign on it and stuff. So anyway, That's not the point. The main point is, you get me. With everything going to crap, you know, Wendy's dynamic pricing is literally the last drip on the cup. But anyway, since Backlash got in the way, you know, that's the economy. It's always a good thing to know that companies got your back. As soon as something happens, or there is a downturn in the market or whatever in the economy, companies literally can find new ways to humiliate themselves. You know, at least somebody got to deserve backlash. Maybe, I don't know, eat at home next time? Maybe if your stove overcharges you, at least you know that you forgot to pay your gas bill, rather than that being charged for an extra thin layer of soggy bread and whatnot, you know, you name it. Anyway, go and enjoy your food. Okay?
Crocodildo penisini, peperoni masturbini, trippi troppa crocodini, dildo